and how's the correct way to speak the language, and became very self-conscious about my many mistakes. So I vowed to correct them, and in the educational process, I got a doctorate. Why? I went to seminary and I didn't just study theology, I studied words. And I got into all the word situations I could. And that improved my use of words, which even when I was studying for my doctorate, I still found out I misused certain words. And I got rid of them. Now that was always my zeal, was to get rid of things that didn't work. And I did that. So I'm sure you don't have many people that have that as a zeal, but I had a lot of mistakes, and I became aware of my mistakes. And that was a part of my life, was correcting my mistakes. Now I'm sure I haven't corrected all of them, because I'm too old and foggy now. And that, when you get old and foggy, you don't remember a lot of things that are important to you. And since I've got this heart problem, I don't remember the things that recently have happened. I remember the things that happened about 7 or 8 years much better than I remember things now.
What was your first job as you became an adult?
Oh, I started working when I was a kid. My brother came by and he had a paper route too big for him to carry, and I got employed by $1 a week to carry half his paper route every day. It was a morning paper, and we had to get up fairly early. Then my second job was working for Dairy Queen and the pop manufacturer. They made these little pops in this Dairy Queen, and I had to work the pop machine. And sometimes you got the stuffing right, and the pop was round. If you tried to sell one of these unrounded props to people, they thought it was defective merchandise, and I had to throw it away.
Tell us what life was like in the early days of your marriage.
It was fine. We had to discover how to get our time right. I had to figure out how to write sermons and try to make them interesting. I had to find out what people were really interested in, and it shocked me to find out that many times I was interested in things they weren't interested in. And I would get to explaining that, and they would be bored out of their socks and wish I'd just shut up. And that's the way it was, and I later faced that. It was kind of uncomfortable to discover one of your big mistakes. But I made that mistake repeatedly, and my vocabulary is too expanded. And again, now my memory is slightly affected because I have the disease that affects old men's memory. So I have that disease. And I hope that I don't get to where I have to write down what I need.
Can you tell us some of the best times you had with your wife in your early years of marriage?
Oh, well, she was a delight. How could I have lived without her? I don't know. Because she made my later life. And when I got older and I slipped on things, she still knew how to correct me. And again, sometimes I got hurt when people brutally corrected me, because sometimes I'd make bad mistakes. And they'd say, well, it's so-and-so, 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 and I'd feel like crawling in the corner because I knew they were right and I knew I was wrong. And that's a bad realization. And I've always been worried about being wrong. Yeah, I want to talk to you a little while, and I want to emphasize the good points your life has. You stay on the central issues. People don't get you to deviate from those issues. You stay with them. You're a good person. You look for good in other people. You expect other people to help you, and they do, because you have that kind of personality that attracts other people who have skills you do not have. So you have ways of expanding your life in ways that most people don't have. So I congratulate you on who you are and the amazing things you're able to do. You're my oldest child. I love you, and I appreciate you exactly for being who you are. Melanie, I want to talk to you and emphasize to you things that you already know about yourself, but things I certainly know about you. Essentially, you are a brilliant person. You can study subjects, you can understand them and learn them and work with them. Nobody gave you a course in photography, but you take interesting pictures of people all the time, and you're capable of knowing their life history, and you can know what they like and what they dislike, and you're good at attracting friends, and you're brilliant at keeping your friends. You're a people person, and you're a joy to have as my daughter. I love you, and I appreciate you, and you're a child that centers in on the center things of life. God bless you in your efforts, and may you continue to do as He leads you. Marty, you are my only son, and I've always wanted a boy. And I had 2 girls, and I love my 2 girls. I couldn't have had 2 better daughters, and I love each of them deeply. But in you, I found out just how much I could love a son. You're a son that's brilliant in mechanical matters. They run you up on the job. You move to the very top of any job you're involved with. You have a major job with a chemical corporation that has to trust your judgments in their corporation being able to pass the various tests that the federal government places upon them. So I'm brilliant with you. I think when you try to do something, I know if Marty does it, it will be done right. You hold with tenacious joy the central principles you have for life. You're very good to your wife, you're good to your son, you're good for your daughter, you love your people, you are a loyal father, and you will always provide for your children. I love you, Marty. Sometimes we differ on small things, but on the big things, we're really together. So God bless you and keep you as you are, for you're my son, and I love you very, very deeply.